Good evening, it's Rebecca Sullivan from Lewisville Family Counseling, and we are reading Chapter 15 of Just One Thing, Developing a Buddha Brain One Simple Practice at a Time by Dr. Rick Hansen. Tonight's chapter is called Be Glad. In order to keep our ancestors alive in harsh and often lethal settings, neural networks evolved that continually look for, react to, store, and recall bad news, both out there in the environment and in here inside your own head. As a consequence, we pay a lot of attention to threats, losses, and mistreatment in our environment, and to our own emotional reactions, such as worry, sadness, resentment, disappointment, and anger. We also focus on our own mistakes and flaws, and on the feelings of guilt, shame, inadequacy, and even self-hatred that get stirred up. There's a place for noticing and dealing with these things that can harm you or others, and a place for improving your own mind and character. But because of negativity bias of the brain, most of us go way overboard, which is really unfair. It's not fair to zero in on a bit of bad news in order to downplay all the good news around it. The results of that unfairness include uncalled for anxiety, pessimism, blue moods, and self-doubt. Emphasizing the bad news also primes us to be untrusting or cranky with others. But if you compensate for the brain's bias by actively looking for good news, especially the little things you are glad about, then you will feel happier, more at peace with the world, more open to others, and more willing to stretch for your dreams. And as your growing gladness naturally lowers your stress, you'll likely get physical health benefits as well, such as a stronger immune system. Now that's good news about good news. How do we do this? Look for things to be glad about, like bad things that never happened or were not as bad as you feared, relief that hard or stressful times are over, good things that have happened to you in the past, good things in your life today, such as friends, loved ones, children, pets, the health you have, stores stocked with food, public libraries, electricity, positive aspects of your work, and finances, activities you enjoy, sunsets, sunrises, and ice cream. Now, some of these things we don't have as much access to right now, so this means that we have to look for those good things and things we can be glad about even more. Good things about yourself, such as positive character and traits and intentions. Sink into feelings of gladness. Glad means pleased with or happy about. So notice what it feels like in your emotions, body, and thoughts to be pleased with something or happy about it. When you create a clear sense memory of a positive mental state, you can find your way back to it again. Be aware of small, subtle, mild. Let me try that again. Be aware of small, subtle, mild, or brief feelings of gladness. Stay with the good news. Don't change the channel so fast. Notice if your feelings of gladness get hijacked by doubt or worry. Also, be honest with yourself and consider if you are kind of attached to your resentments, grievances, or case about other people. It's okay if it's hard for you to stay with gladness. It's really common. Just try to name to yourself what has happened in your mind, such as hijacking, brooding, grumbling, and then freely decide if you want to spiral down into the bad news or if you want to focus on the good news instead. Make a conscious decision, acknowledge it to yourself, and then act upon it. Sometime every day before going to bed, name to yourself at least 3 things that you're glad about. I also say maybe 3 things you're grateful for. Share your feelings of gladness. Make a point of mentioning to others something that you are pleased or happy about, often the little stuff of everyday life. Look for opportunities to tell another person what you appreciate about him or her. Thank you for tuning in. This is Rebecca Sullivan with Lewisville Family Counseling. Have a good evening.